What's going on, guys? I'm Briley Taylor with the 6 Feet Under Fab. Welcome to this week's episode. So tonight we're going to continue working on the J-10 here. We're going to start on taking the front clip off, which is the grill support, bumpers, stuff like that. I'm gonna get the hood off. I'm gonna take the fenders off, inner fenders. So if you're new to the channel, this is my 1984 Jeep J-10 pickup truck that in the last video that I put out on this, I ended up taking the bed off and I ended up bobbing the frame. I cut the frame back about 6 inches. The frame in the rear was bent, so I just chopped it right there past the leaf spring, and here we are. So now I need to get this truck ready for a new drivetrain, and I'm going to be putting in a 5.3 LS motor. I'm going to be putting in a AX15 behind that, and then I plan on putting a Dana 300 in behind that. So this truck is going to have a pretty solid drivetrain when it's set up. I would say the most aggravating thing about these full-size Jeeps is the hood. I'm going to show you how far the hood picks up. That's it. So all the Wranglers that I've been used to working on all these years, the hood goes all the way back on those, and these, it goes at like a 45-degree angle. It's pretty terrible. So every time you do anything, you hit your head on here. So see, my arm, my head. So the first thing that I'm gonna have to do is take this hood off. So those hoods are extremely heavy and awkward, and so I had my dad and my buddy help me take it off. So now this is like the land of opportunity here. Holy crap, this is really dirty. I probably should have washed this before I brought it in. You can kind of see the Frankenstein-ism of what's going on with this truck, because this is not the original front end for this J-10. Somebody has gone in here and done some work to it. I'm not going to say good work, but they've done some work to it. So obviously, you know, the front of the truck is brown, and then the firewall up there is actually still silver. So, but anyway, I'm not that worried about it because I'm going to be painting it and stuff like that. But I'm going to start taking the front of this grill off. Basically, everything on the front of these full-size Jeeps it's all standard. There's really no metric on these trucks. So now that I have that razor grill out of the way, I can go through and get this bumper off. Luckily, I've been soaking everything down with PB Blaster for the last couple of weeks. It's like every time I'd walk by it, I'd just spray stuff with PB Blaster. I really didn't want to have to use my plasma cutter just yet, but some rusty bolts is kind of making this a necessity, so I'm sorry. I got the bumper out of the way, and that kind of opened up some real estate. Honestly, it looks better without that goofy little bull bar thing. But I did come across some stuff that is making me rethink all of my life decisions. So you can see here, I've got a nice size rust hole right there. Of course, that bolt, when you turn it, does nothing. I rounded that screw off. Let's see, over here, same thing, rounded that off. That's rusted, won't spin. That nut right there won't spin. And then I was like, well, I'll just get this battery box out of the way. Well, somebody welded it. So there's that. They welded it right there, and right there. Now I've got to kind of just do damage control at this point and figure out how to get this battery box separate, because there's nothing wrong with the battery box. I just need to get this grill support out of the way. But it's welded, and it looks like the only way to get it off is just mass destruction. So I'm gonna toy with this a minute and see if I can get it off. Well, I got that stupid battery tray out of the way, and of course, guess what I find? More rust. So it looks like whenever they welded it in, they didn't paint anything, and it just rusted behind it. Look at that. So I had to make a cut right there, but there was already, you can see the waves in the metal. It was already rusty, so that cut up there wasn't bad, but this one, there was rust holes all in it, and then whenever I pried on it, it just fell all apart. That's something that's gonna have to be dealt with. I definitely don't want to throw a bunch of cool parts on this Jeep when this is present. So I've pretty much gone all around and taken off all the bolts that I can. This isn't really how I planned all this going. To be 100% honest, this is just how these projects go. So now I'm trying to take the body mounts out so I can get this support part out and hopefully start wiggling it and just trying to see what's holding it on now. Because all the bolts that I see are out. Now there's some of these, like this one, that is just completely rusted, and I don't know if you can tell, so then I went along all these bolts right here, and every single one of those just snapped right off, which honestly, at this point, I'm fine with, just because I'm tired of fighting with this. Let's see if we can get this body bushing out, this body mount out. Hey, I think I got it. Ha-ha! Ow! I hit my finger. Check that out. Sweet. And it's not even that rusted. It's got some pitting in it, but that's about it. I might be able to reuse this one. Hopefully the other one comes right out too. So I'm using a 13/16 on the top bolt, and then on the nut I'm using an 11/16. Oh, that's spinning. Oh, apparently I broke the bolt. I didn't feel it break. What? Dude. Y'all are not gonna believe this. Look at that. Look at that. That is what rust will do to a bolt. So these are the two bolts. So this is the driver's side, and this is the passenger side. That's what broke. That's why I didn't feel it. Oh my gosh. So it is a new night here in the shop, and as you can see, the J-10 has not fixed itself overnight. So when I put the camera up last night, I started just looking at the rust going on, and I found a lot more rust. Let me show you what I found.
It's because I'm a hipster, dumbass.
I was looking at the bottom right here, and I was noticing this like mesh wire stuff. And as you can see, this is all just fiberglassed and just completely rusted. It is just completely destroyed. Like, that was that was just fiberglassed in. Like, look at that. That's not good. And then over here is the same thing. See that? So to be honest with you, I was like, you know what? Not that big a deal. I'll just cut it down here. And then I realized that it's rusted all behind there too. I probably have to get a whole new grill support, which I do not want to do. But it's not like this is the original grill for this truck either way. But so I was like, well, you know, I got some rust right here. You see, I just pushed through that. So this section obviously needs to be fixed, and all this is just falling apart. And then come right here, and how I didn't notice this before, but look at this. So I was messing with this earlier. I was like, wait, this looks like fiberglass. And so I was pushing on it, and I actually pushed my thumb through the fiberglass. So you can see, well, that looks kind of satisfying, where the fiberglass pushed through the mesh. Whoa, that looks kind of weird. So as you can see here, this fender is no good. So you can see whenever this fiberglass is pulled back, you can see really how bad things are. People don't fiberglass over rust. So you can see there, that's the rusted inner fender there. So all this is just rusted to pieces. The only good thing about this fender is that it has the J-10 emblem on it. And I think this fender is fine. No, this one's beat up. So you can look right here and kind of see the dents that I got going on. Really bad right there, so it's been damaged. And it's got rust holes in there. I guess I can take this antenna off. It's got every adapter in the world. I really want to get these fenders and everything off of this. I really just want to rid this Jeep of any rust. I was finally able to get the fender off, but you can see on the back side what I'm really up against. This is no good. I'm just gonna work my way all the way around until I got all this mess off. Whoa. I wonder how old that is. That's pretty cool. Like this is just all rusted on the back side right here. I'm gonna put a bolt back in, that way it won't be flopping all around. But you know, this is just a typical project. I do get kind of irritated, but I'm honestly just trying to stay positive. I'm thankful that I'm able to come out to my shop and do stuff like this. I'm thankful for y'all watching. This is just a lot of work ahead of me that I wasn't anticipating on. But hopefully this is just all relatable. You know, I don't know if y'all have ever started a project that just every time you turned a bolt, you just uncovered more work for yourself. Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know. I definitely need some inspiration at this point. All right, so with some prying, I was able to actually break the rusted metal and separate this. So what has happened is it's almost like the rust has just welded this together, which is honestly impressive.
I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
So now I've got to get these wires pulled out here. So this looks really bad. I'm fully aware of that. But so right here, I've got to figure out how I'm going to get these rusty bolts undone because they are not moving. I'm probably going to take a grinder and just cut them out. I really don't want to. And then there's one way down there I've got to cut out. All right, so I got the front grille off. So now what I want to do is I want to get this radiator out of the way and I want to get these inner fenders out of the way. Oh. So some of this stuff I'm probably just gonna leave on the fender because I'm probably not gonna use it. Like I'm probably not gonna use this windshield washer fluid, probably not gonna use the horns, probably not gonna use really anything on here except for the hinges for the hood. So I may just be able to drop the whole fender, and then if I decide, hey, I need the, you know, this windshield washer container here, I can just, you know, go outside of my shop and get it. And check this out. I never even noticed this. There was oil just chilling in there. So hang on to that. So I got a new tool for the shop. I got one of these DeWalt impact ratchets. So let's see if it'll get these rusty bolts off. This thing is awesome. All right. So I have gone all around and just trying to get the Jeep ready for the motor to come out. So what I've done, I have took the drive shafts out. I have loosened up the rear. I've loosened up the cross member. I have basically just gone around and just kind of just cut hoses and everything for right now because everything's leaking anyway. So I started messing with the motor, or I started looking at the motor mounts and getting the right size so that I can get it all on camera. But look what I found. So this side, the bolts came out just fine. I went ahead and got the bolts out of the way, that way I could show you. So these are the bolts that came out, and everything looks pretty normal here. Pretty standard motor mount. But on this side, this is really confusing me. So you can see in here, this has been welded in. And it looks like the mount was right here, but they have welded something to the block, or they have made a bracket and bolted it to the block. I'm definitely curious to know what y'all think about that, because that does not look factory. But anyway, I'm gonna get this loosened up. Basically everything that I've took out so far has been a 9/16, and oh, I've got to disconnect the clutch from the transmission. So I've got a couple of things I need to loosen up, and then we'll be ready to take this motor out of here. All right, so now I'm pretty much to the point where I need to get my motor hoist ready. So I'm just gonna throw this on top of the motor. I've got a bolt in the bell housing, then I've got a bolt right up here that I'm gonna be connecting to. Now I need to get my motor lift over here and put some tension on the motor and basically let it show me the things that I forgot to take off. I forgot to take out the shifter, so I had to drop the transmission all the way down because I got in a bind because it was actually starting to hit the dash.
Ugh, idiot.
Always take out your shifter first. All right, so we have the motor completely out, had the transmission out and the transfer case. And from everything that I've seen so far, I'm actually pleased. There isn't any really bad rust spots. There's no heavy pitting or anything. And I went around everywhere with a magnet and a screwdriver, just testing the metal. And the frame seems very, very strong and rigid. I'll kind of give you a walk around. So I was having trouble getting around this frame horn right here because of the starter. That kind of got me in a pickle, and then I had to drop it, and I ended up just taking the starter off, and what I honestly should have done to begin with. So I'm going to take all this wiring off eventually and just kind of figure out what I'm going to need and what I need to keep and what I don't need to keep. It feels good just having that old nasty motor out where I can really get in here and start cleaning up the frame. I'm thinking I'm not going to take the cab off just because I can clearly get to everything now that the motor is out and the transmission and everything. So once the front clip is off and the bed is off, you really have full reins to do whatever you want to with this frame. So that's going to be it for this video this week, guys. I appreciate y'all watching me take the front clip and the motor off of this J-10. I'm trying to make this build series a little bit more thorough, just trying to go through all of the things that you'll encounter if you do decide to build one of these full-size Jeeps. I plan on going in depth on how to put it back together also, so just make sure y'all stay tuned for that. I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see y'all next time.
Ow! Ah!